Hello everybody, sorry we are just waiting for to be connected with Milan and Supersalone. Okay, first of all, my name is Dario Armini. Those who were part in the workshop has already met me, and thank you very much for being here with us. And just I think a few more seconds to wait. Anyway, thank you. Those who were attending the workshop already know we have organized this day here at the Italian Embassy to celebrate this hybrid and new form of fair, which Stefano Boeri and his curatorial team are organizing in Milan. So we are glad to be one of the stages of Milan. Okay, so thank you very much. We are live with Milan. So we welcome the people who are attending the event here at the Italian Embassy. We welcome our friends in Milan for being with us in our festival. And first thing, I would like then to give the floor to the Italian ambassador in Berlin, Armando Varricchio.
Hello Milan, good evening, good to see you. Welcome to all to the Italian Embassy in Berlin. I welcome those of you who are sitting here in our ballroom, as well as those who are attending in the Arena 2 in Milan, and those who are attending online our event. A special welcome, I can see Stefano Boeri covered with his mask, and the curatorial team of Supersalone del Mobile. Stefano Boeri needs no introduction to the audience. Notwithstanding great success, he is constantly pushing the limit ahead. Supersalone is the next step in such a path. In just a few months, he and his international team have created a new trade fair format. The desire to attend the event has been strong and amazing, I would say, as shown by the outstanding 30,000 preview ticket sales and 425 brands attending in Milan. What a success. Supersalone is deftly exploiting all the potentials of hybrid solutions and succeeded to create a new form of event. Today, the Embassy is the stage of this very unique edition of Salone del Mobile, the only one outside Italy of the official program of the Supersalone, and this makes us all very happy and proud. Berlin is one of the most active and lively cities in Europe and the world when it comes to creativity and design. The connection with Milan is strong, and I'm glad that today's event offers us the opportunity to highlight and further strengthen such a link. Moreover, Germany is one of the main destinations of Italian experts in furniture. In the last year, export is stable around €1 billion. However, as we all know, design is not only a very relevant sector of the Italian economy, it also defines the Italian way of life. Design is associated with beauty, with sustainability, with a special attitude to face today's challenges. In a way, design defines Italy. As the President of the Republic, Sergio Mattarella, stressed at the very opening of Supersalone, and I quote, "We are a world reference point for the sector in which the country is at the forefront." End of quote. Italy is considered a beautiful country in the world, not only from landscapes and cultural heritage, but also thanks to an industry that knows how to use beauty as a raw material. Such creativity, this ability to combine innovation with tradition, are a strong asset of Italy and can speak highly of our natural search for new technologies and research on materials. COVID has placed our homes at the center of our attention and our lives more than ever. The question is how to link the themes of production cycles with low environmental impact to the needs of a fluid, multinational home that is a place to relax, work, and get in together. In order to live sustainability, we need to look ahead, and this requires a strategic approach in selecting products, in architecture, in our environment, to raise awareness and also to generate responsibility. Sustainability is the key subject of this year G20, the Italian G20. It is also key for climate action. And in a few weeks, the eyes of the international community will once again be on Milan as the city that will be hosting the so-called pre-COP conference. The concept of this year's Supersalone embraces more generations than ever before, because it also invites universities to participate. And I'm pleased that here in Berlin today, we've also been able to involve young people in the conversation on responsible and non-extractive practices of designing, creating, and building. A special thanks to Sofia Belenki, who has moderated a workshop, The Tomorrow of the Temporary. An intense exchange just took place in this very room close to us, with leading figures from Berlin design, culture and architecture, and the university scene. Our guests of today's Salone event have certainly touched these questions in their daily work before, because of their experiences and concepts ranging from physical objects to buildings, from research on materials to the research on the social impacts. This year's Supersalone explores the opportunity to create dynamic new trade, fair concept, more responsible and sustainable. And finally, my last thanks for Lukas Wegwerth, who will be the central figure of today's exchange. Lukas is head of installation production for the Supersalone and very instrumental to the entire organization of today's event. I would like also to acknowledge here the presence of Dr. Markus Beder. Together with the other members of Raumlabor Berlin, Dr. Bader was awarded a few days ago the Golden Lion at the Venice Architecture Biennale. Such an achievement made me particularly happy as a further strengthening of the ties between the city of Berlin and Italy. As well as all of you, I look forward to the next hour. For those who are attending at the embassy, I would like to add that they will have the opportunity later on in the evening also to enjoy a further product of Italian creativity. The embassy is projecting on its facade video mapping of Dante Alighieri to celebrate this great Italian, one of the great masters of Italian creativity, 700 years after his passing. And now, I wish you all a very pleasant and fruitful day at the Embassy of Italy.
Grazie Ambasciatore, and I give the floor to Stefano Boeri, we have been seeing going around the Supersalone fair in Milan. Stefano.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your attention. And well, as you see, I'm here at Supersalone. Basically, on Thursday, the first day of this, let's say, fair. As you know, we have accepted to run this edition, knowing that we were taking a risk in terms of, say, probably not the same numbers in terms of buyers, in terms of publics, and we knew well that we had to, let's say, guarantee a competition set it in terms of with anti-COVID. So, but we are extremely happy to confirm that well, Supersalone is here, and as you know well, we have from the beginning decided to gather a group of colleagues that has co-curated with me this venue. And well, you, the ambassador, thank you, ambassador. You have already presented Lukas Wegwerth, and we are here also with Maria Cristina Didero and Andrea Caputo just after me. So just to sum up what we have done, we have tried to produce something which has to be at the same time following the profile of the traditional Salone del Mobile, so a commercial event, but trying to introduce some radical innovations. And the first innovation was the idea to open to the public from the beginning of the Salone. So for the entire week, the event is not only B2B, but becomes also a B2C event with the public, which is present from the beginning. The second news was about the idea to, let's say, move from a format that was more or less based on the system of booths to a different format that Andrea Caputo will explain and will describe, but you can see also here on the screen, which is a system of walls, of flexible setups that are allowing the different brands to, let's say, in a very, very, very open way to show not only their products, but also their public image and their history. The third news is about the digital sphere. So I think this is something that we are very proud. We have introduced, together with the presence of the products, the presence of the furniture, that I believe is something that we cannot lose. So the possibility to, let's say, touch and feel the material, the gravity, and to confront hundreds of furnitures coming from hundreds of different companies, so the best word in presence. Well, to add to this, the digital sphere in terms of having the opportunity, thanks to a simple QR code, to purchase and to buy all the products that are present here. So that combination of, as you can see here, a very simple QR code with the possibility to touch and to fix the object are something that we believe it could become one of the legacies that Supersalone will leave to the future exhibitions. And again, another amazing step that we believe is what Lukas has done in terms of making everything sustainable, also in terms of opportunity to dismantle and remantle all the setups, all the. So it is very important for us that all here is recyclable or usable. And we really don't want, we really believe that it's over this. We cannot accept anymore these images of destruction that we normally see at the end of a fair or at the end of an exhibition. So basically everything is dismantled. And what Luca has done, as you know, studying this amazing way to, let's say, create and assemble panels in the steel, it's great, and it's really amazing. And then again, with Maria Cristina Didero, we have introduced an amazing public program. So the idea is not only to have here, let's say, exhibitions, but to have also public talks, dialogues, conferences, public lecture. In this very moment, we have Bjarke Ingels that is talking about his recent projects. And Anina Koivu was the person that I asked to develop a project involving the schools. And we have here more than 33 international design schools, MIT to Eindhoven to Politecnico Milano, that are showing their lost prototype. So the lost graduation show is exactly an amazing presentation of prototype project developed by students and teachers that had the opportunity to be shown in the last 16, 18 months. So I believe this is another amazing addition that has enriched the Salone del Mobile. So I say that more in general, we are extremely happy because this format of the Salone, it's super, I hope, unmissable and I hope unforgettable. Well, it's something that I hope will leave some legacies, I have just said. And I also think that it's important that Milano and Italy has reacted, and it's a way to confirm that in the design field we are at the center of the international path. We are creating international path with the center of the world, and we know well that the design field is not simply, let's say, it's what we see here, but is a very, very, very large system of entrepreneurs that are big on a large territory, and this is one of the most important Italian resources, also from an economical point of view and point of view of export. So thank you for your attention, and I'm so happy to have the opportunity to share something of the Supersalone. Well, thank you again, and I think I show to Maria Cristina Adidero. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, my name is Maria Cristina Didero, and I was asked by Stefano Boeri to be part of this new format, this Supersalone. What impressed me when Stefano called me is that his idea, his brief, his concept. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So I was very interested in one of the words that Stefano shared, that it is, of course, the leitmotif of this edition of Supersalone, which is sustainability, durability, and sharing. So sharing, it was, of course, about people. So one of the assets of my curatorial direction, it's in fact people. So I was very happy to be in charge of the public program. The idea of having regular people every day at the Salone, of course, was very thrilling, and I thought that it could be a great occasion for the audience to have the chance to meet and to listen to the most interesting voices on the international creative panorama. So we put together this public program, which is divided among talks with thematic subjects, or lecture like the one by Bjarke Ingels that is going on right now at the fair. We had Alejandro Aravena yesterday, and we try to cover different subjects that are of some interest nowadays. Again, sustainability, the role of women within design, within institution, the role of tradition with Giaponti, and things like that. And we're very happy about the reaction that we had so far from the audience. I think I give it to Andrea Caputo now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maria Cristina, and good evening to everybody. As Stefano mentioned, we got involved with other curators and designers into this project, which has been of a certain complexity since the beginning, in the sense that we immediately understood we had to reconsider completely the trade show format. And I guess this is the most challenging part of it. We really try to, let's say, switch from the traditional idea of a booth, which was the consistence of the image of Salone during decades, into something else. And so we started from this analysis. We started from the analysis of a space which has been also lacking of an image, if you want to think about it this way. So in the sense that Salone del Mobile has been always the result of dozens of booths, not clashing against each other, but still not giving maybe an identity to the fair. And so for once, we decided to switch from this perception and to create a new identity, to create a new infrastructure, because this is not just an architectural project, it's more an idea of a repetitive set of walls which are parallel to each other and which are constantly hosting the brands. So for once, the idea of Salone is not anymore based on the square meters. Before it was even sold by square meters in terms of space. Today is actually a linear meter protocol, let's say, a linear meter concept. So we have around the 1.5 kilometers of walls if we sum up each other together. And along these walls, as you can see from the image, the brands are exposing their product. And this kind of intervention is also belongs to the contemporary times, the contemporary way we live today, you know, the contemporary way we share information. We really belong to a verticality of things and elements. And we really try to, let's say, promote and share and divulgate what we see with our mobile phones, for instance, according to a vertical surface. And so for once, we wanted to open the booth, to open the stands into an ideal vertical, continuous vertical surface, which is showing the product. And this is working. I mean, we have good feedback in the sense that people is really able to understand and perceive the product in one shot, because we don't have to check in the booth anymore. We don't have to check out anymore from the booth. And this is really a new way of approaching the market also. And also the COVID protocol. We had to keep in mind that the huge traffic flow of people, there were 30,000 people on Sunday at the fair. We had to manage this flow of people. So the idea of a sequence of parallel repetitive walls is also related to the idea of having everybody flowing around without any clash, without any cul-de-sac or any problematic way. So there's several ways of circulating, even these wormholes, which are in black and cutting completely these elements are part of this game, which is more playful, more informal, and if you like, more naive. So we really try to, let's say, not compromise, but to rethink about this kind of logic. And the bet, of course, is what is going to happen next in the next editions. We just hope that this kind of intervention, it's adding something new in the content, adding something new in the way we experience the trade show today. So thank you very much to Stefano for the involvement and to all of you for listening.
Lukas, to you. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for having me here. Thanks for being part of that great team. We just arrived back yesterday or evening to be here. It's a great honor to be part of the making, but also to experience the event now in the last days and see how it was really working. Andrea was in our curatorial team focusing on the part that he described now, and on the side of that, each of the pavilions is also built out of a larger public space, so the common areas that Stefano also guided us through now. And we were mostly focusing on the conception of those and an idea of having a space inside the fair that is very open, that's a place for discussion, that is very light, that was very important for us, and uses as little material as needed for as much as exchange as possible. So that's why we
thought about a material strategy as something that needs to be conceived and considered very seriously from the beginning on, so that all the materials that we need for this part of the fair have an afterlife, and that also the source is considered, and that that the moment of this, it's just a week, so the time is really short. So it's important to think about the long time of growth of the material that was happening before, and the long time of reuse that is possible. So that's why we started to think a lot about modularity as one tool, also about durability, which comes together with the modularity, because modularity only makes sense when you can do a lot of cycles of reuse and reconfiguration, and also about how to take all those things apart, and also the ownership. So in the beginning we had a bit a different idea of that. Now it turns out that the fair also is really interested from their side to be the party that will be the reuser. So in a way we started a rather an open approach towards structures that we build, that we don't design too much, so that also let's say a visible durability is given, so that they are not too much following formal aspects, but rather follow the need. And in the next edition will probably be used quite differently, so that it can be taken down to its elements. To describe that a bit more, how we made that, so we used basically a steel structure with a connector that we call 3+1, and this modular element can be produced pretty much everywhere now. So it's only based on one simple technique, which is lasering. And that is also something that seemed really important for us, that whatever we build needs to be possible to rework on that, or to add to it when we want to have it as a kind of an open process on site with people, who, in this case, the fair. We also did that with other institutions before. So basically, it has to work without our involvement in the future. Basically, we leave that kit of elements there, and by producing it, there is also always a learning about the architecture itself, or the structures themselves, which I think is very important, that when we foster that idea of reuse, that we also need to take time to learn together with the institution how to produce and how to do that reuse in the end. We did a while ago, it's a little discourse with Space Caviar in Venice, a similar project where we also work with that kind of modular system, but in this case we are already in that next phase of reusing our things that were done some years before. So in a way, this kind of futures could be futures for material that we now produce newly. It's also always a big question of scale. We were also just having a very nice workshop next door here with very interesting voices about the idea of temporary architectures and what it means to build temporary. And one thing that we often experienced from different angles is that scale is something that really matters to find the right answers to the problem. So we also found quite different answers to smaller structures than we found for the arenas. So the public program is hosted in arenas that are completely made out of rented material, because it just has a lot of weight and it's difficult to bring into an intermediate storage. So we were rather opting for existing rentable materials, and only went for really new production where it was needed. So in a way we also didn't want to put those structures so much in the foreground, rather giving a lot of space for the exchange of people to meet and exchange, like with the talk program. And also this year we changed the format in a way that business lounges are a shared format. So a brand doesn't have a business lounge for the brand itself, but there are a range of business lounges offered that will be shared. It was very nice to see that this was now really working well, and it's also, I think in that sense, the sharing also really adds to the very fundamental idea of why we do a fair. So in the end, it's a lot about coming to one place, exchange, and so I can only also say thank you to Andrea, who explained that how he made the walls, and reducing the limitations or the boundaries or the of entering a booth. So it's very, very direct this time. And so in that sense, for me, it was also a bit the feeling of a market in that sense, where you have a very direct contact. So I think that was for me, and I hope for many others, a very positive take from this edition so far. I don't know if maybe we also open up to questions now.
Yeah. So thank you, Lukas, and thank you also to our friends in Milan. And we give now the opportunity to interact with the curatorial team, and first and foremost with Lukas here. And I'd like to ask any of you if you have any curiosity about the event in Milan, or about or also your opinions about what is the future of a fair in today's post-pandemic world, hopefully post-pandemic, and also what do you see about the big issues of sustainability and durability of materials and objects. If any of you wants to take the floor.
Sure.
Hi, Lukas.
Hi.
Yeah, I have been at the fair, and I was really wondering if you have some feedback how the reaction was when the booths were offered to the companies. Because normally the booths is like not only, I don't know, it's not only a booth, but it's the installation of the brand, it's the installation of the objects. And in the last salon affairs, the booths and the architecture of the booth, all the atmosphere was like, let's say, nearly the same worth as the objects. So were the companies like shocked at the beginning, or how was it, when they were told, okay, you're not allowed to do nearly anything, and you have the same space as everybody else? Do you know something about it, or what did you have to do with it?
Yes. I know something about that, actually not in depth because that was never my core task in that team. But it was new for many brands, and especially the larger brands who are really very dominant or prominent in a fair, had to change their way of going there. But I think in that special occasion of just being super happy that we at all can have that event again, also knowing that it's anyway a bit smaller than other years. So far, there was an introduction, or there was also a guide through how to deal with that. There was like assistance for working with an architecture that is not in the first place ideal, let's say, for if you want to show certain typologies. It was a bit more difficult than in other years. So because it's new, you often have some in the beginning, some people who are a bit uncertain with that. From all I heard now, it was really very positive feedback on this, and what I can, as an observer then, because the booths or the representation of the fair, of the brands, was something that we didn't have any control over, we didn't want to, so that's of course what every brand wants to do with it. And I was really amazed that in that seemingly strict limitation, you could see a lot of play. So I think that was what nice. Yeah, for me that was really nice to see. For the brands, I cannot really say it to the very, not a final judgment. We have to ask really more brands, and that's something we really want to do in the end, to do that review.
I do have a question, Lukas, as well, which very much involves also what is our activity. So the fair used to be a place where people were showcasing what they were producing in order to sell, first of all, then. Now a fair seems to be also a place where people can together debate what the sector they work on, where the sector is going. So it seems to be a bit more an intellectual place as well, not only an economic or trade place. Is it a bit the road that the fair is taking, especially in a place like design, which also has got the ambition to redefine the world where we live in, or do you think the fair will rather go back to a more commercial use?
First of all, I think for me, going to Milan the last, I don't know, 10 years or so, I was always there, and I'm a big fan of that event. And it was always a place of exchange of much more than just products. Also within the fair, because there is Salone Satellite, so there are this kind of formats installed. And at the same time, we saw a shift of the younger generation out of the fair into the city. That's also a super interesting part of being in Milan, that you have events everywhere. But I find it a very good development that this energy and that dynamic that has developed in Milan, and that is super special to this event. I don't know any other event that is so important for design, or can be so important for design like this one. That this is also installed within the fair, and with these different different bricks of curation from the maker show to the talk program and to the installation of a really large graduation show. I think a step in the direction is started to involve the next generation again more in the fair itself, and I can hardly imagine that it is just neglected next year. So I think it's something that is needed to keep the relevance of the fair in relation to the events outside the fair. And I think, and I experienced that also from the makers of the fair, that is appreciated a lot. And by the way, I think it goes very well together with the commercial part, because I have the feeling that especially on the long run, this cultural program needs to be embedded really deeply to also make sure that the event is as vivid, and by being vivid and relevant, also commercially effective.
Yeah, that's what we hope as well, because I mean the two parts cannot really be taken apart anymore, and or at least that's the impression we all have at the moment. And in a sense, people like to think much more than they like to buy, or maybe they like to combine the two issues together. But definitely now also as buying is becoming a more individual aspect that you can do at home with your own computer, then definitely maybe things have to remix a little bit, and that's I think the interesting part also of the work that you're doing in Milan. Can I ask anybody else if they got thoughts or questions? So being so, I think we can close the connection with Milan. I know that by 6:30 the people are starting to leave the arenas in the Supersalone, so that's a perfect timing for us as well to close our connection. And definitely we thank everybody who has been attending either on air or here, and for all of those of you who have come to the embassy, we can now have a refreshing moment all together. So thank you very much.